him a random name.
Yeah, exactly.
If anyone is alarmed by that. So
He was like, I know that's strange, but yeah, I actually go by Paul. So I was
Cool.
like, okay, you got it.
So away we go. Llanowar Elves to start things off here from Zevin Faust. The ideal start. And Triumph to kick things off here.
All right. So Llanowar Elf, and here comes Thalia as the 1-2 punch.
Oh yeah, that's wow. That is exactly what you want to be seeing if you're Zevin.
Yeah, not bad. Sometimes you like to be able to go 1 into 3, but there's just a lot of really good draws from the Celestia Company deck. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we won't be able to see turn 3 Collected Company with good old Thalia. I've never known how to say her name properly. On the battlefield.
Yeah, we haven't actually just seen a Collected Company cast, at least you and I.
No,
but,
we haven't, yeah. I'm pretty sure Patrick had said Soohwang. So.
Yeah.
Let's see, where are we going now? We're going to crack a map, stick it on the elf. The elf gets a land.
Ideal scenario, I would imagine. Or maybe we are a little flooded. I do see a few lands there.
We're going to get Kellen out. So, yeah, I love this. This is creature, go wide, smack face approach here. So, Paul Yeem is going to go down to 17, excuse me. Untaps, and let's try and deal with this Thalia.
Yeah, so some of the cards that are going to be really important here from Paul is Lightning Helix, Portable Hole, Chain to the Rocks, Torch the Tower.
Yeah.
You only have 1 or 2 of these, and then the 4 Leyline Bindings. So what Paul really wants to be doing is just casting a lot of those early pieces of interaction to ideally deal with cards like Thalia, and then get your Enigmatic Incarnation down to be able to really go over the top.
I think he's got full domain, right?
Teamer, no, missing
Ketria,
black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Naya and Teamer.
Okay, so I wouldn't be able to fire off that. So one of the 1-mana removal spells is definitely what we're hoping for Enigmatic Incarnation's sake, but there is a land, so...
I see a Helix, so if anything, that's an option.
Nice,
but...
okay. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Let's go everywhere, shall we?
Yep, gets an everywhere counter here. And just a great start. I mean, now we have domain. I mean, the way this card works with your Leyline Binding is really, really nice.
So sweet. Like oh yeah, I really like the Overlords.
Yeah.
I want to see more of them.
And the fact that you get to impending this with a Thalia in play. Normally you think, okay, I'm playing it as the enchantment side. You would think that it would cost 1 extra. You would also think that it doesn't trigger up the Beanstalk because you're paying 3.
Yeah, it's not very intuitive.
It is not very intuitive. Overlord kind of, cheats through those ways, but really just ends up equaling to being very good in this deck. Very synergistic. Yeah. So now we could just have Enigmatic Incarnation if we have untapped land plus the powerful enchantment.
Da-dum. Da-dum. I see a Glosspool Mimic in hand for Paul.
Not the one you really want to draw.
No, not tapped land, so that's no bueno.
Yep.
Right now.
But not under a crazy amount of pressure. Not bad. And the Llanowar Elf, I believe he was just asking if it just got played, which I think it was. So no ability to Collected Company this turn, even if the Thalia were to die.
It's a good thing to check, just to make sure,
So I see a Lightning Helix in hand. I did see land 5 untapped. So if Paul has it, you would imagine you jam it. But the thing is, Zevin can have a plethora of cards to be able to deal with it. Aven Interrupter is the first one that comes to my mind. Yeah, there's a couple flash sets. Aven Interrupter, Fox Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Those are the 6 cards that could be available to Zevin right now to just really interact. And they'd all be pretty backbreaking, to be honest.
I mean, just anything at instant speed is so much damage coming in the next turn. So, yeah, and having to shock in a land 2, now going to 10.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So if this does get Aven Interrupted, you're not dead. You're not just absolutely dead to a crackback, but it's pretty close.
Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. It's going to take care of a Thalia, perhaps?
If there's not an Aven Interrupter or something.
Yeah, big things here for Zevin. How does he respond? It looks like it is going to resolve. So that hits the board. What is going to get got?
So this is probably a little bit of
Yeah.
acting job here from Zevin. Because if you had Aven Interrupter, I just imagine
yeah,
you're
yeah.
snapping
Fire
that
off.
off. But could be a Werewolf Bodyguard. You just want to flash in at end step.
And step cometh, impending counters get removed.
Okay, that
Time
was
counters, excuse me.
that was the exact type turn that Paul wanted. Just you didn't have Aven Interrupter, you didn't have anything too crazy, and being able to untap and only take 4 damage or something here with a Helix in hand to be able to gain some life back
Yeah.
next turn. Paul's got to be feeling great.
Yeah, this is certainly the stabilizing point here for Paul Yeem on Enigmatic Incarnation. We've seen so many variations of this
Yeah.
deck, but the one consistent thing I think we've seen is these Overlords just doing work.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I would say, the more stock list. Piotr Glukowski, popular streamer Canister. I saw him playing that deck first to a really nice, win on Magic Online, and was kind of the go-to list. Then we saw the Sultai evolutions, but plenty of people saw both versions and was like, I still want to play this style
Smush 'em
of
together.
Enigmatic.
Leyline Binding taking care of Kellen, and we're going to pay some mana to get Archon of Emeria down. So let's only play 1 card a turn.
Absolutely no problem there from Paul Yeem. Super happy about this as he has a Helix to clean that up. 2 Helixes, in fact. So is able to just kill the Archon, start playing up the Beanstalks, and just start gaining an absurd amount of value. Huge advantage to Paul.
You know what's kind of sweet, though, with this Enigmatic Incarnation deck?
Yeah.
Like, I was jamming a couple games. People had high noons out. You were coming to expect that. But once
Yeah.
you have the engine going, you can just jam an Enigmatic Incarnation and just keep going. You don't have to
Yeah.
do all that much because all these creatures have such crazy ETB effects. Sorry,
Yeah.
enter effects now.
Yeah.
So, it's not all that backbreaking for that Archon, but it will be dealt with here.
Yeah, exactly. The Archon, whenever you have these, you can only play 1 spell. There's a pretty good go-to thing that if your deck itself plays cards like High Noon, you don't really care about those
Yeah,
effects across
of
from
course,
you.
yeah. High noons in this list?
There should be, yeah. High Noons are usually pretty
One on the
stable.
sideboard.
Just 1, yeah. Wow, didn't.
Oh, no, there's one in the main deck.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 and 1, so nothing crazy, but
The time counters keep ticking on our Overlords.
and remember that little face down token isn't everywhere land.
Where do we go through from here? We do have the Lightning Helix, like you mentioned. We have the Mimic. Can't copy anything right now, I
No,
believe.
probably gonna wait till one of the Overlords come off.
Yeah.
And now you can either really just buy Yorion or start casting up the Beanstalk. Purchases the beautiful bird serpent.
Silly bird. Okay. We're gonna play that as a land.
Yep, looks like it.
Yep.
Just a land drop there.
Flippity flop.
And Zevin needs a big turn here. I think it's like any other card besides Collected Company. I don't think is going to have the staying power. So really needed in the face of Paul Yeem's plays.
Pull down to 10 now, or no? Okay, here comes Anointed Peacekeepers, so we get to take a look in hand. See the Yori on the Helix, the Beanstalk. One of these cards is going to get taxed.
And it almost just doesn't matter. Even if you tax the Yorion, you can just pay for it. I believe the tax is 2. Yep. So with that Temple Garden in play, you can just blink. And I mean, if that becomes the case, worst case, you just go take 2, down to 8, play Yorion, blink out both Overlords, get an everywhere counter, deal
That's
4
gross.
damage to the Anointed
That's so
Peacekeeper. You can Leyline Binding too. I don't think we'll actually see that play because if there is an Aven Interrupter, you're actually kind of in a little bit of trouble. So I wouldn't be shocked to see just start a nice value turn, up the Beanstalk, Lightning Helix, just make sure you're not going to die type thing.
Not dying is generally a good thing. So Lightning Helix is going to take care of, potentially, Anointed Peacekeeper. That's gone. 3 more life for Paul.
And we'll see if we want to also up the Beanstalk.
Hell yeah.
Could just play this
No,
as well.
bird time. That's going to be it for game number 1. Just so much value. Blinking these effects, or these enter effects. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's rough. That's rough for anyone to overcome.
Definitely looked great. You know, this Celestia Company deck, once you get to that point where you don't really have that great of a start, you can't back it up with Aven Interrupter, or you start flooding, anything like that, it's going to be pretty rough for Zevin. So Zevin's going to very much need to maybe see the namesake card, Collected Company.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And just have a little bit more of a smooth start.
So what are we bringing in for the sideboard here for Zevin?
All right, so let's take a look. I like the Elite Spellbinders, the Paulo Vitor Damaderosa World Champion card. I like Anointed Peacekeeper, anything that keeps Paul Yeem off of the on-time enigmatic incarnation. I don't think Gideon is where you want to be going with this. It's a fine card, but
What is he for?
For 2015, I believe, you know, like that's the main purpose, winning Pro Tour Honolulu back in 2016.
Sure.
No, I don't know. It's probably pretty solid up against these like Rakdos mid-range decks. It's going to be nice against like blue-white control. If you could stick that, they don't have a way to deal with it.
Okay, so
it's a card I would have not expected to see for what it's worth.
For now. Okay.
Yeah, it might come in. I don't know, but I'm definitely bringing an Anointed Peacekeeper, Elite Spellbinder. And that's really it. Those are the things that really jump out to me.
On the other side of things, let's see what Paul Yeem is looking at.
Yeah, so from this, anything that kills cheap creatures and,
It's not that much, yeah?
I don't think I'm bringing in a card. I think I'm just, you know, presenting my deck back.
Yeah? I mean, it's Chandra, but that's going to take way too long to get to.
I'm not bringing in a card.
Board wipe, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring in a single card. I would just leave it as is.
We're just playing best of one then, yeah?
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, these enigmatic incarnation decks are supposed to be good up against aggro decks.
Yeah.
This is an aggro deck like we haven't seen before, as it does have these kind of death and taxes aspects to it. You know, these really kind of brutal creatures that are tough to deal with. So this isn't a matchup where Paul is really ready per se to deal with it, but there's still a lot of one-mana ways to deal with a lot of creatures in the main deck, so Paul's just fine probably clicking back.
And also pretty happy being up a game at this point, so gets to look at the sideboard, probably not bring all that much in. Maybe there's maybe there's a card coming in.
The Chandras are fine if you want to just have a 6-mana way to deal with the creatures. It seems a little too expensive for me. Elspeth Conquers Death does deal with a card as well, but once again, that seems a little too expensive. Anything that's a Thalia deck, I really don't want to bring that stuff in. Maybe you bring out Knockout Blow just because it still is 3 mana, destroy a creature, but otherwise, I don't really love it.
Yeah, this sideboard, you know, it's like kind of just a bunch of one-offs and then hope like heck they work.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, that's kind of the downside as well to multicolored decks is you have too many options.
Yeah. And Yorion decks, you know, most of the time there's like your sideboarding strategy begins with what cards do I need to take out? Not the flip side where what cards do I really want to bring in? But that being said, there isn't any of these cards in the main deck that are just absolutely awful against aggressive decks. The flanker probably being the worst card, but even that, whatever, it's fine. It's a 3-mana flash blocker.
Yeah. You can gain life off of it, too.
Yeah,
it's not terrible.
Knight of Autumn looks pretty bad. You know, you really don't want to destroy any enchantments. Gaining life isn't great. High Noon is probably not ideal. So those are the 3 cards I would want to try to get out. And, you know, it is just the what do you want to bring in for them. And not amazing options, but you can always bring in a Reckoner Bankbuster. It does its thing. And go from there.
Sweet. Alrighty, so while Paul is taking a look at the sideboard, getting that all done and dusted, we can take a quick look at the bracket just to show you how this top 8 shook out. Ian Robb versus Eric Gray, Omri Goldenberg versus Connor McKenzie, Corey Lack, Patrick Wu, Zevin Faust versus Paul Yeem. That's what we're watching right now.
And we're going to be focusing on, for the top 8 here, the right side of your screen. We're going to be watching Zevin and Paul Yeem here to start, and then we'll be checking in on Patrick Wu and Corey Lack after that. And then, of course, the winners will play each other for a World Championship spot.
Woohoo! That's pretty neat.
That's going to be exciting.
I do love me some good Magic, and we've been treated this weekend. I will say,
Yeah.
there's been some excellent games of Magic between these players.
Great metagame, great matches, great sports. You know, I mean, this has just been an overall amazing weekend
Yeah.
for a regional championship. You really can't ask for much more.
So kudos to all the players for some great Magic being played. Shout out to all the people behind the scenes who have made this possible to bring you coverage of the regional championship. It's great to have Magic back on our screens. That's, not just the Pro Tour. Yeah, the Pro Tour is great and all, but we only get 3 of them a year. So
Exactly. Yep.
need some more.
We need more.
Inject it
more
into my
coverage.
veins.
And they're doing it. Star City Games here giving us a lot of coverage here in 2025. Something like 10 or 11 events, which are
Yowza.
all going to have coverage,
Woo! Let's go.
I can't even count that high.
My 2-year-old can. He just randomly counted to 20 the other day. That's
There you
pretty neat.
go. You're crushing it.
Cool. Good job, bud. Alrighty, let's take a look at the hands here. Let's resolve mulligans. Is Zevin happy? No. We're going to send that back.
Okay. So, mulligan there from Zevin. Not ideal, but if you pick any spot where you have to have some mulligans, in the top 8 is not the absolute worst spot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As we have just, if anybody was watching the last 2 rounds of the broadcast, Zevin played not for long because he destroyed his opponent so very quickly.
I remember I heard Cedric getting very animated. I wasn't watching the broadcast at the time, and I'm like, oh, yeah, something aggressive just happened. And I was right. Yeah, Zevin just absolutely smushed his opponent. So, yeah, I hope they've recovered.
I hope so as well. I hope so as well. So you do see kind of in the background picture here of Paul Yeem. The other top 8 players, they are playing at the same time as this. So we'll be giving you updates as they come in.
Yeah. As people finish their matchups, if they're done before this. Otherwise, we'll have to wait a little while after our 2 feature matches while we find out who our semifinalists are going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looks like this is a big thought here from Paul Yeem. Looks like I think we may have reluctantly kept, or we're still thinking about it.
Yeah. There's no real rules here between mulligans. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll shuffle your deck while I'm thinking about my mulligan still, right?
Buy more time.
Yeah. Big things.
Stalling. Better give it a pile shuffle. Really think out your mulligan decision.
How many people? Oh, you would tilt so many people. Like, that's not shuffling. It's like, well, yeah. Sometimes we just want to do it to make ourselves feel okay. Okay.
Don't get chat started, Ailey.
No, I may not do that.
All right. So it looks like Paul has kept.
Sweet. Oh, anything? Yeah, good. Lands.
Yep. Looked fine. We see 3 lands. We have Llanowar. And some stuff in the back. So this is a hand Zevin's going to keep, just debating what to put back. Looks like we put back land number 3. Okay. So that is putting some weight on Llanowar. That is a choice that we're going to see.
Don't die.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
Die.
But it's pretty tough to die turn 1 against this enigmatic deck. There is like Sacred Foundry for portable hold, Torch the Tower, or Chain to the Rocks. Yeah. But outside of that, there's a lot of tap lands in the Incarnation deck.
Alrighty, away we go. Game number 2 underway here. Zevin Faust needs to win to keep his hopes alive, and it's a Sacred Foundry, and it's a Chain to the Rocks, Corey. You jinxed him. There goes the elf.
Big oof.
Big oof indeed.
That's one of the small combinations where you can actually kill a creature on turn 1 with Enigmatic. So big stuff there for Paul. That was huge.
Yowza. All right. Talia, Guardian of Thraben, back on the board here. She's been a mainstay for the white decks this weekend. We've seen her a bunch. Even though, white wasn't necessarily played all that much, they've snuck their ways into the top 16 here for sure.
Absolutely. The Celestia Company deck, as well as the blue-white,
Azorius
deck,
humans.
will really say it was just mono-white, but that also did some serious damage.
It sure did. Llanowar Elves is just, it's a lightning rod / remove me target. As we do see the Enduring Innocence on the board, so any future 2-power critter is going to be drawing cards here for Zevin.
And I did see some removal spells here for Paul Yeem, and they're in the form of destroy target things. So that's pretty brutal up against this 3-drop that we just cast because, well, you really need to exile that card.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the value will just kind of run you over. I do see Lightning Helix plus what looks to be land 3, so at least you can kill Thalia to unlock your hand a little bit, but I don't necessarily see a removal spell. I see the Roaring Furnace as an option as well.
I think we're going to go Lightning Helix's way here first. No, okay. We are going to go to the room. Roaring Furnace. Will deal damage to Talia equal to the number of cards in hand, if I'm not mistaken.
The one thing that did unlock is you do have the ability to just untap and Zevin can cast Collected Company here.
Yeah, let's go.
Now that Thalia is gone, so.
Please can we see a company?
Yeah, we haven't seen one yet. Let's see. You would probably want to cast it right away. There are going to be some sweepers, but, you know, for the most part, there's not a lot of them. No Supreme Verdicts or anything like that in this enigmatic deck.
Just passes the turn back, so whatever's going to be happening from Zevin, if anything, is going to be at instant speed. We're just checking life totals here between the players.
4 mana past the turn, shucks. Just didn't have a play? Dang it.
Gosh, that's so unfortunate.
Dang it. Unlucky for Zevin, just passing the turn with no plays.
Boo.
Ugh.
That sucks.
Man, never lucky.
Surprise! You totally saw this coming.
I mean, it could be no play. That is definitely a possibility. And then I'll feel bad for that comment. But more than likely, we should be seeing a Collected Company here from
I sincerely hope so. We're just going to will it into existence because we seem to do that with everything else.
Now, there is a price to pay for that if Zevin does indeed have the company.
Yeah.
Is if Paul Yeem has a Leyline Binding for this creature and you don't get to draw cards in response, that's a big deal. So if I was Zevin and I had company, I would have cast it during my turn. So maybe that is bad news bears here for Zevin fans.
Well, let's see what Paul Yeem's got here in hand. Thinking. And shocking. Sacred Foundry in once again, down to 10. Here comes Heliod. Ooh, this guy, he's nasty. And yes, we do have to read him because he's not played all that much.
Yeah, Heliod is definitely one of the tutor targets that you really want. You know, you're able to return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand, so it does nothing.
It's
this is
a
4 mana 4/4 that can transform.
When it flips, though, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. I don't think I've ever seen this card transform from this deck, at least. But it is very good.
It's a dude guy. It hangs out on the board.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can get this right. When it flips, you can cost things at instant speed, but the cost is reduced equal to the number of cards your opponent has drawn, or is it things that they've played? Let's see.
We're gonna find out because I have no idea.
Yeah, it's drawn. Yay!
Right.
Look at me go. Thanks, Commander.
Here is the Collected Company, though. So this must be with this on the stack. So maybe we could get Aven Interrupter, something like that.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. What do we hit? Aven Interrupter, Elite Spellbinder. Let's go.
Huge. And you get to draw a card. You get to take a look at Paul's hand. This was excellent from Zevin.
Yeah. 2 cards as well? No, 1 card because Elite Spellbinder is a 3.
Has 3 power. Yep, exactly.
Paolo. Too much power, man. Oh, okay. Titan of Industry, Helix, Get Lost. What's the one in the middle? Portable Hole?
Oh, looks like it. Yep, Portable Hole.
Removal. Giant.
Not ideal because the main thing, if we look at Paul's mana base.
Where's the green, man?
there's green, but there's no blue.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, brutal. So Paul's draw here is not great. I mean, the removal spells are gonna be pretty strong. You know, this Lightning Helix is quite delayed. The Titan of Industry is a blank piece of cardboard in the hand.
Just chuck it under the table at this point.
You can't top deck your best card and it'd be good, the Enigmatic Incarnation, because your mana base isn't agreeing.
Yep.
So it makes sense why Paul was given a big think about this hand, as this doesn't have all the pieces, to say the least.
I mean, yeah, he did a decent enough job of trying to just stem the bleeding and keep him off, mana acceleration, getting that Llanowar off, but yeah. That Aven Interrupter getting Heliod down. This is a very short clock, and I think we're going to go to game 3 here shortly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's plotted, so you kind of get to cast that for free, and that's all great and everything, but if Zevin has any follow-up, we're done. And, yeah, Archon to be able to slow down Paul. All that says is you have to kill Archon first, and then you
Yeah.
have to kill other stuff.
Jeez. So what? Get lost, then portable hole maybe. What do we draw here for Paul?
Deafening Clarion. Looks like there is one
is there
in the
one on the board?
list. I think there's exactly one. Nope.
No,
never mind.
I
That was a
don't remember
different
seeing
list.
that one,
Yeah.
So yeah, get lost first to get rid of the pigeon. Well, the Archon is the thing on the bird.
Yeah.
I discovered that recently. I was like, yeah, no, that's not a bird.
Fair.
Yep.
So, yeah, with them all being flyers, you have to kill Archon. You can just Lightning Helix the Archon, and then
That's a Helix though, right? Oh yeah, it's no,
it
it's
costs 2 more. Yeah.
oh yeah, it's 2 more.
So you can tap out Helix the Archon and then play Heliod, I guess, to go to 1.
That's rough.
But, yeah, GG.
Oh man, that was a rough keep there from Paul.
Yeah.
Risky, but you know.
And I mean, maybe Paul's hand looked pretty decent and then started drawing Heliod, started drawing Titan of Industry, all that kind of stuff. As when you top deck those one-ofs, they end up being quite bad.
Yeah.
You really want them to stay in the deck.
So one more game to determine which of these players is going through to the semifinals. Doesn't look like we have any results yet from the other matchups going on. We will show the backup match, so we won't give any spoilers there until we've shown it to you on camera.
Yep, absolutely. And we're going to have a nice game 3 here between these two players.
Yeah, hopefully.
To see who makes it to the top 4, to play the winner of the other 2 players that we see on our screen. Gonna be a nice one. The Transmogrify deck on the right there for Corey, and the Azorius Lotus Field on the left for Patrick.
Poor Lotus Field. Everyone's like, Lotus Field combo, so good. I mean, it was so good, but
It was,
it
yeah.
has to be an Azorius shell now just to make it into a top 8.
Yep.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, exactly. Lotus Field combo, not what it used to be. Just a lot of other decks got a boost. Lotus Field hasn't gotten anything in a while, and it's extremely hard to play. So
yeah, it is. It's complicated.
a lot of players just don't necessarily want to put themselves through that.
When you start bringing out like sticky notes and labels and things to keep track of stuff,
And coloring books for your opponent while you combo off.
give them some knitting needles,
I remember back in the day, back in the old
Yeah.
SCG Tour day, there was a Storm player who would bring a coloring book for their opponent to have something to do while they started comboing off.
I would have taken them up on that,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
Just be like,
why not?
Hey, Judge, will you watch them for me? Thanks. Cool. Oh,
Yeah.
good grief. What's the longest game of Magic you've played, or match, I should say?
The longest match, well, I honestly, a lot of the production staff is probably going to hear this, and it's going to, send shivers up their spine.
Uh-huh.
I played in the finals of a Grand Prix where it was a mono green Devotion Mirror.
Oh, boy.
It was the second longest. Jeremy Knoll is just looking, shaking his head at me.
Yep.
He's
Might
not
throw
too
something
pleased.
at you, duck.
Exactly. It was the second longest Grand Prix finals in history,
Yeah.
and I got 2-0'd.
Oh,
So like
wow.
we didn't even play a third game.
How long was it?
God, it was at least like an hour and 40 minutes, I want to say. It might have been a little longer.
Oh.
I know.
Just grindy?
Yeah, just super
Jeez.
grindy. It was a match where it wasn't these mono green Devotion decks that we see now that win really fast.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I got a bunch of mana. I'm going to manifest 6 times. You really can't attack
Oh, yeah.
through.
Okay.
There was no Karn to push through. Yeah.
Just clogging up the board, huh?
Yep. That was back in the good old days. Cedric and Patrick commentating that match. Probably saying, hey, I want to go to dinner.
Probably.
Please lose, Corey.
Yeah, hurry up, please.
Yeah. But it was my first Grand Prix top 8, so I had
That's
to,
cool.
get
Yeah,
the camera time.
Oh, hell yeah. You gotta
Exactly.
get the most of it, right?
Exactly.
Milk it for all it's worth. or just do what Zevin does and be done in 10 minutes.
I now know why Jeremy Knoll tries to kill me on Commander Versus all the time first now. It's
I would
because of
too,
that match. I knew
honestly.
it. I knew it. Yep. We
Yeah.
finally figured it out.
Oh man, that's so funny. One of the longest matches I think Eduardo Sajgalek was in,
Okay.
where he just stopped functioning after a while. His brain just like checked out.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember who was commenting. I think it was Marshall.
I mean, yeah,
Marshall and Paul probably.
when you play one of those long matches after you've been playing all day,
Yeah.
like it's brutal. You know, even these players right now, you know, I'm sure they didn't have the best lunch. You know, you've been getting in a spot where you're like, all right, I need to win 2 more.
Well, Zevin
I can
had
make the
time.
top 8. Yeah, now that's true. Zevin had plenty of time. Was winning matches in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these tournaments can just be a grind. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. So definitely something you need to build your stamina up for. So if you guys want to attend a couple events to, you know, train, as it were, prepare, SEG has several coming up. There's a bunch lined up. There's one in November. There's going to be one in January that is open to everyone to come and play. There's one in March. So definitely come and check them out. There'll be side events aplenty. If you want to just get some games in, you know, play some Magic, jam some Commander or CDH or, I don't know, do some sealed or draft, whatever the set is. Foundations is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Foundation is going to be really sweet.
I'm looking forward to that. You know, I like it when Magic or Wizards of the Coast try new things. And
Definitely.
everyone's like positive about it. And I don't think I've really seen any bad stuff about Foundations, barring maybe like 5 years is a long time, but
Yeah, and
we'll see.
it's tough because we don't know the cards that are in there. If there's a card we really don't want to see, you know, maybe that's going to be a little more brutal. But I don't think these are going to be, you know, for instance, I don't think Oko Thief of Crown is
No.
going to be in the Foundations or
Nexus
anything.
of Fate, why not?
Exactly,
No.
nothing like that. These are going to be the cards that are not necessarily extremely busted on their own.
No.
It's cards that are good facilitators
Yeah.
for the rest of the deck type thing.
It's the staples that, you know, you say, oh, I'm playing a green deck. Oh, do you have Llanowar Elves in it, for
Yes.
example? You know, it's the staples. It's
I truly do think like Llanowar Elf is probably going to be the card that we talk about the most.
I think so too.
Because, you know, just automatically giving those green decks that kind of boost,
Yeah.
it is powerful. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's going to be great. And one last thing I'll say about, you know, the standard changes before we get into this, that kind of we're switching to this longer rotation,
Yeah.
which we're kind of in right now, so far has just proved to be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, standard has been great
I
for the
was
last
skeptical.
year or whatever. I was skeptical as well. But, you know, it's nice to give those kind of things a try, and it ended up being pretty cool.
Yeah, so props to William Huey Jensen and the team for
Yeah, absolutely.
pioneering that. Haha, I said the other format's name. As we get things underway here, Elvish Mystic passes the turn back to Paul Yeem. Let's see if we can get rid of this dork on the board. It's basically a Llanowar Elves.
Yeah, exactly.
It just has a new name.
Yeah, here's the real question. Is
Yeah.
Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elf going to be in Foundations?
It's Llanowar Elves.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
already confirmed?
I know that one. Yeah.
Okay. What if it's both?
Well, Brian Kibler would be very happy then.
Yeah, it's rejoicing. Yeah, absolutely.
Portable Hull does take care of the elf, so get out of here. No mana acceleration for you this time around, Zevin. Turn 2 play. Talia again. Hey!
There we go.
Yeah, she is on time all the time.
So the big difference here is Paul is on the play, though. So being able to have an answer here. And, ooh, I see a quick glimpse of that Chandra. Looks like we did decide to bring that in.
Hey,
Yep.
cool, nice. That's a good board wipe.
And I think
we're accelerating towards it.
And I think it really was the case of I needed X amount of cards out, so I
Yeah.
need to bring in something.
So Overlord of the Hauntwoods going to go and getting everywhere. Dumped out on the board here
Yeah.
for Paul Yeem. Both players at 1-1, so definitely giving us the most action we could expect here. There's Llanowar Elves, followed up again by,
Okay.
would you believe it, another Llanowar Elf.
And 2 cards in hand, and I saw one of them was a land, so Zevin doesn't necessarily have a great draw here, with Paul already having Overlord to do his best to ramp, and that Chandra ready to go
Yeah.
here next turn already. If we make a couple land drops, you got to put big advantage here to Paul.
Yeah. Definitely do at that. So let's see. Let's get the land down first and foremost for the turn. And then see where we go from there. Yorion always hanging out, ready to be brought to hand if nothing else is going for him this turn round.
Yep, absolutely. There is Breeding Pool. And
Looks like there's a Leyline Binding in there.
yeah,
too.
I think I see that as well. So it'll be interesting. That one will cost 2. you know, with the domain from the everywhere counter. So a really big key turn here from Paul. As I just see the one land, so 4 other spells. I think Leyline Binding as well as the Chandra, and then 2 kind of mystery cards.
Time will tell as we take another 2.
Looks like a March.
Yeah, March Otherworldly Light.
Yep.
Yeah.
That might have been the Leyline Binding, though, so I'm not sure if we have both, but we'll see.
There's a piece of removal.
Yes.
It's white. We can tell you that much.
Absolutely. All right. Big turn here.
2 Leyline Bindings. Hey.
Okay. Wow.
Sweet.
2 Leyline Bindings, March, Chandra. That's a pretty solid hand.
That's gross.
But once again, the card that we just cannot seem to find, Enigmatic Incarnation, which would be excellent right now.
Where the heck? Do we see a company? We haven't seen a company. We haven't seen an Where are these 4 mana spells?
We saw a company.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay, my brain is not so functional right now.
Sure.
But, oh yeah, we did. Was that even interrupt? Yeah, that was sweet.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. My brain can only hold so much information at a time, so yeah. Here we go.
Smart.
3 mana. What we got?
Just going to purchase the bird.
Bird is the word.
Not bad. Now that does set up for a solid turn of 5 mana, 4/5 flyer, put an everywhere counter into play, and you get a 6/5 as well. So
yeah. Alrighty, Zevin, what you got, bud?
you can also bounce out the portable hold to then eat the Thalia through the Yorion. So
that's
a lot of cool stuff you can do with Yorion here.
Yep. His life total's not under that much pressure, just with 4 power on the board with Thalia and the elves. But if I'm Zevin, I'm pretty sure I'm using. Oh, never mind. I take that back. Pretty sure I'm using the elves to cost something, perhaps?
Still a ton of cards here from Zevin.
Okay. Whee! In we go. It is the Leyline Binding on Thalia, so that's going to get got.
So we'll see if there's a follow-up Thalia. The one risk of not waiting till end step is if there's another follow-up, you just play it. But that's another really sweet thing. If there is a follow-up Thalia, Yorion blinking, Leyline Binding, Legend ruling the Thalia, and then being able to just bring it into play is always quite nice. But I think I just saw lands and Skyclaves.
Yeah. Hellbent?
So it's Yorion time.
Oh, yeah. This is, I think this is pretty much wrapped up at this point. No cards in hand. Needs a collector company off the top and not to miss, essentially.
Yeah. And with the portable hole going away already, getting the Elvish Mystic back, you're not blinking that to upgrade, but you can just blink out the Leyline Binding, exile Skyclave, and get a 1/1 as well. So Paul Yeem can have 3 blockers in play right now and not be too threatened.
Yeah, Yorion coming in, blinking the Overlord too. Get another land off of that. That's pretty sweet.
How many Yorions do you think I own?
I know you have the massive one on the wall.
Yeah.
I would say 5.
I think I have 15.
Why?
Well, I've either gotten gifted a good amount of Yorions, or I've bought a bunch. I have so many different alterations of them too. It's my favorite card, y'all.
So, as you've just heard, then, dear friends, viewers, if you are coming to one of the SCG cons, bring a Yorion.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You sign it and give it to Corey.
Yes.
There you
go. Okay, I'm in for this. Sweet. I'm going to be Yorion flooded.
And your bird equity is going to go all the way up.
So the one really bad draw here from Paul. Paul just drew Chandra number 2.
Ugh.
Not ideal. It's still fine, don't get me wrong. And wow, actually, if you can resolve one of them,
all that stuff's dying.
you just go -3.
Bye.
You get to keep your creatures and you lose everything.
Oh man, if that doesn't shut the door here, I don't know what does.
Well, looks like Paul's looking pretty good here on this one.
Yeah, I think our Selesnya company dream is dying here, unfortunately. After Chandra hits the board, wipes it entirely, and leaves Paul with a incredibly powerful board.
Yeah, really too much to come back from if you're the Selesnya Company deck. Once the Enigmatic deck is just ahead in this matchup and you're at a healthy enough life total, it's just over. So really nice, well-fought battle here from Zevin.
Yeah, it was great.
And big congrats to Paul Yeem, looking like he's going to be advancing to the top 4 and playing for a world championship spot.
Let's get this game wrapped up. Is that an Atrax in hand? Oh, yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Paul can draw all lands from here on out, and I'm confident he will still win this.
It looked like he was about to attack with Chandra. I'm like, I don't think how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool and all, but I think she's... she has been Princess a creature. Never mind. I retract that statement. Okay, so let's tap some mana. We got a bunch of everywheres. How are we going to finish this game in style? It's going to be March of Otherworldly Light. Get that blocker out of the way.
Yeah.
Turn things sideways, and that is going to be it. Paul Yeem is going through to the semifinals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very
Big
cool.
congrats. Our only enigmatic incarnation player here. And, this is kind of the matchup that I could have saw go either way. But Zevin just really didn't have that fantastic draw where he was just able to go 1 drop into 3 drop into company, get 2 things. When Zevin can do that, his deck just looks insanely good.
Yeah.
But when you kind of stumble even once, these enigmatic incarnation decks can just kind of run you over.
They can at that.
Yep.
We do still have a backup match to show you, friends. So
Yep.
as soon as we can, we shall. Oh, and he did actually bring Gideon in.
Yeah, sweet. Okay.
Good to see the D sideboarding here. Something we don't often check out.
Yeah, good old Gideon coming on in. I did not expect Gideon, ally of Zendikar, to be in the top 8 at all. So to be in the main deck, that's pretty cool. I love that card. I mean, I've played that for a long time back in the day.
Rip Gideon. Rest in pepperonis, friend.